Hi, this is Dr. Stephanie Wautier, and I'm the host of Conversations with a Chiropractor. This is not a health how-to, but rather a conversation with some amazing people I've had the pleasure of being with on my journey of life. Think of it more like Tuesdays with Maury, a fireside chat, or chicken soup for the soul. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy this conversation with a chiropractor. Today on Conversations with a Chiropractor, I am joined by Valerie Whiteman, and anyone who has stepped foot in this physical building knows her. She is the beauty at the front. She's the reddish blonde bombshell.
Oh, wow.
She's everybody's best friend. She's the girl next door. She's California dreamin', Valerie Whiteman.
Oh, you can come with me everywhere.
So this is something that not many people know about you, and this is where we're going to start. We're going to start with the fact that you won a game show.
Yes, I did. Way back when. And yeah, it was quite a thing. It was back in the day when game shows were
My gosh,
what?
all the rage.
Yeah. And it wasn't my idea. It was a girlfriend's.
So she drug you there to the auditions.
Yes, she did. And there was hundreds of people there. And I didn't know what to expect. And so we got there and they started washing people out quite quickly. Well, and I got to a certain point and said, well, I'm going to stay. I'm not going to wash out. Unfortunately, my girlfriend did. She was a little shy, but I just turned it on. And
So there were different people from the show, like producers that were engaging with you and sort of seeing how you would respond.
they started with a couple big groups and then they broke you into smaller groups. Then the last group was a group of 10. You did the game show in front of one of the executive producers. And then they said, 4 out of the 10 of you are going to get a letter. I mean, this is a big deal for a game show. I'm like, for heaven's sake.
My gosh,
But
yes.
And so I got a letter a couple weeks later and ta-da.
And you were on card charts.
Yeah. And it was all about, it was a no-brain game show. It was just a game of chance. And you just had to be able to talk when they wanted you to talk. And so I thought, well, I can do that. And so I walked away with $8,000. And I'm going to date myself, 1986. Yeah, that was a lot of money.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
What did you do with it?
Well, Steph, I took the money and
Did you go on a cruise?
I didn't go to Disneyland, but actually I put most of it down on a new car because I was driving a 77 Audi that was on its last leg. And so got me a little sports car and did the California thing for a while. So yeah.
So you were born and raised in California.
Correct. Yeah.
And your mom was born and raised in Montreal, though.
Yes. Yeah.
And her parents were born and raised in England.
Correct. Yeah.
So do you know the story of them coming to the United States?
Way back when, and even my dad and all his family are from England, and they're from the middle to northern part of England. It was all for a better way of life. My grandfather was a tool maker. My mother's father was a tool maker. It was tough times. This was early. They were born in the late 1800s. Can you believe it? Can you imagine?
Wow.
And so they emigrated to Canada first off, settled in Montreal, opened a candy store. And it was more a candy store, maybe a few odds and ends, and ran that store when my mom was born and her sister. And they were there till she was about 20 years old.
Your mom.
My mom, yeah.
Did your mom know French? I mean,
some French, yeah, while there.
so your grandparents had a candy shop. Is your mom older than Pearl?
No, she's younger.
She's younger. So did Pearl get married and move first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's older. There was just the two of them. And she and her husband moved to the United States and settled on the West Coast in California. And tight-knit family. My grandparents didn't want to be without the daughters. So they kind of followed my aunt.
Wow.
So, and in the meantime, it's a funny thing. You might remember my mom telling you this, is that as they moved from Montreal to Southern California, she was on a bus trip around the United States with her girlfriends.
I didn't know that it was at the same time.
So when they were, and I don't know the logistics as far as how my mom finally got to California, but she was actually on a trip around the states, checking out the United States. So
With two of her girlfriends.
yeah.
Wow.
So
She was pretty adventurous.
because she was just 20 years. She was born in 33. So this was in the early 50s.
Wow.
So
I remember her telling us those stories about where they went and what they saw. That was probably very courageous for someone in the 1950s.
definitely, and just girls alone and such. And so, and we need to tell the audience too that you knew my mom.
Yes. In fact, Grandma Betty, as we called her, and I'm not going to get teary-eyed, but I'm going to tell this story. So, I mean, Grandma Betty was in my life and my children's lives from the time they were babies. And she really helped to care for my daughter, Sonia, because I went back to work when Sonia was 6 weeks old. And Grandma Betty was like the caretaker, the nurturer. And, years went on and she's in our life. And probably any of my listeners know that, like, my mom, she had some health struggles. And so she wasn't able to be like a. So we were visiting my husband's mom once. And my daughter was like, okay, so if Grandma Alice is Dad's mom and Grandma Pretzel, that's what they would sometimes call my mom, is your mom, who's Grandma Betty's mom? And I was like, it's Val's mom. Yes.
She loved and adored your kids. I mean, anybody that knew my mom, she was just an angel.
She really was.
Yeah.
So loving, so positive. I'll never forget the first time I met her. She brought us sandwiches to the office on this lovely platter.
Oh, yeah.
And she was dressed adorably. I thought, oh, she must have just come back from Arizona. Like, I thought that she was like a jet setting,
She was real. She was just a real lady. And yeah, if I have just a bit of her in me, I'm lucky. So
You do. You have a lot of her in you.
I hope so.
For our listeners, Val is the one who, anywhere we go, let's just say we're going to a conference, I will literally be turning around and she is stuck because someone has decided to tell Val their life story. She's like in the grocery store being held up by someone who thinks that her ears are listening ears and that she needs to hear every single detail.
I love people, and everybody has a story, right? Sometimes in the middle of the banana section, it's wherever, right?
They're gonna find you.
Engineer.
They're gonna find you. Let's jump back to your mom. So she finally moves to California after going across the whole United States with her friends, and she lives with your grandparents. And does she start working at Mattel right away?
No, I think she took some temp jobs first. She went to work at an office, but then she ended up at Mattel, and I think it was in an administrative, secretarial type position.
I mean,
This is when Mattel.
This is the height of them like developing Barbie. I mean, anyone who's seen the Barbie movie, you look back at the ones that they created in the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
She was like right there.
Yeah, she was there when that started. And wouldn't you think I would have some of these, but I don't.
Oh.
But yeah, she used to, and she told me this, and I was quite young. I was a toy tester. So she would bring some of these toys home, and they would have some of the employees bring them home to have the kids say yay or nay.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I can't remember it, but lucky me.
Valerie Whiteman, not only a game show winner, also a toy tester from Mattel.
Yeah.
You can be adding that to your resume.
That's true.
So, do you know how your mom and dad met?
It was at a dance. I think it was at a social of some sort. They had a short engagement. They kind of
In
met.
love?
They were in love, and it was, I think, within 6 months, they got married. Yeah, it was pretty quick, but he was just such a sweet man, my mom would always say. So just low key, sweet, and they just hit it off. And
Very handsome.
he came from England. She was English, and to meet another Englishman.
Yeah. Maybe that's what drew her to him.
Could have been. Yeah.
What kind of work did he do?
He was a union man, and he was a laborer. He was in the army there for a short while.
Was.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn more about his roots, and I've dug into
Mm.
talking with cousins about and just trying to get a little bit more of that genealogy on that side of my family.
Tell us what your dad's name was.
His name was Bruce Stedman Whiteman.
And your mom's maiden name before she got married
It was Jones.
Jones.
Yeah.
Betty Jones.
Yeah. How generic a name, hey?
She's like a movie star. Betty Jones,
Well,
right?
I think she kind of looked like one in her day.
I do too.
Yeah.
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 Very handsome couple,
Oh,
your parents.
they were. They really were.
So, for our listeners, your dad died young when you were 4 years old.
Mm.
And I'm sure that just changed life forever.
Yeah, well, certainly. Being so young, I didn't realize what was going on, but yeah, I see pictures and you just see I could see how devastated my poor mom was. And so my grandparents were in the Southern California area because my aunt was also, and we went to live with my grandparents.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, your grandparents were such an amazing, loving impact on you, right?
Oh,
Like your grandmother, was she the best baker? Was she the one who brought like the scones and
did
the
all the English baking, yes, but she unfortunately didn't like other bakers in her kitchen, so I didn't really get to learn too much from her. She was one of those that she wanted to
my
feed you, but
gosh.
she was like,
Give me my space.
yeah, out of my kitchen.
Oh my gosh. So your mom did learn from her though, and then you learned from your mom or
Yeah,
being there.
yeah.
And what
So,
was your grandpa like?
oh, sweet, very sweet man. He was a tool maker and just soft spoken and just somebody that you just want to be around. Just really sweet people.
What a legacy,
I
to talk about. I mean, even the impact they had on you, and you were kind of raised in their home.
He was the male figure in my life for a number of years, and yeah, I couldn't have asked for anyone better. Yeah. How lucky me.
So you were definitely like, I mean, a California girl, right?
Yeah.
But you also spent some time in Hawaii.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Who doesn't want to live in Hawaii? I got to a certain point. I graduated high school and I actually went over there on a high school senior trip and got my feet wet, literally and figuratively in that sense. Went back home and said, I think I want to go to school in Hawaii. So I just filled out what I needed to fill out, made it happen, and got on an airplane a few months later and I was there. So
Wow.
yeah.
Brave and courageous, just like your mom.
Well, I mean, I didn't know anybody. I just signed up and went and it was lovely. As you well know, traveling is an education all its own. I was immersed in the Hawaiian culture, which was when you say Hawaiian culture, you think of people from Tonga and Fiji and Samoa and New Zealand and all those Polynesian islands. And I was lucky enough to meet and become quite close with a number of those families while I was over there and did some really cool things that were traditional to those cultures. So
Like
yeah.
pig roast
Yeah,
and
well,
luau
yeah,
and
exactly. Like burying turkeys and pigs underground and covering with the bamboo leaves and for those are all day affairs and
to cook them.
to cook them and tapioca plants and yeah and then going and picking fruit and yeah it was something it's just so interesting to be immersed in that and just see and the Polynesian people are so giving. I mean, they give you the shirt off their back and
Hmm.
in turn, if they need something, they want your shirt too. But I mean, they're a loving. Well, it was a great experience. It's really a great experience. So yeah,
Well, your education or the next phase of your life's journey brought you back to California and you went into the police academy.
yeah, yeah. Go figure. From the tropical islands to going to a police academy, and that was great.
Wow. Now you're so physically fit. Like anybody who knows you probably knows you from the gym, or they see you cross country skiing, or they see you like hiking up Marquette Mountain. Have you always been really physically fit? Has that been just a part of who you are?
Yeah, especially since the academy, because it's a 4-month training. You had physical, yeah. There was some pretty brutal training, and so, yeah. And then I picked it up and just kept running with it, literally. So, and yeah, even through my younger years, I'd be in a gym. So it was just something I enjoyed. So,
Were you a cheerleader growing up?
oh yeah.
When we were growing up, cheerleaders were cool.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
But I also did drama too. So I kind of crossed that line, I just thought, everybody matters, right? And
yeah.
I had fun being a cheerleader, but I also had fun with the drama kids.
Yeah. I sort of had a friend in every category of like niche of high school.
Yeah. And I think that's why we might have enjoyed school that much more, because we didn't limit ourselves.
Absolutely. So you probably saw some really horrific things as a cop. Southern California, rough streets. Is it San Bernardino County?
Yeah, I was San Bernardino City PD. And yeah, you do. It was gang filled. They put me on a gang detail too after I'd been with the department for about a year. And yeah, you do see a lot of things that you wish didn't exist out there, but sadly, I mean, yeah, and they do stay with you a little bit. It's such a shame that drugs are so prevalent, and with that, I mean, drugs are such the root of so many problems. And now, I mean, it's just been there for so long. There's it's nice when you're wanted when you go somewhere, but generally as a police officer and people that do it know that where you go is not where you're wanted.
Yeah.
Because there's been some sort of crime that's been committed. So,
so many people that know you now are surprised by that because there's no hardness about you. It's like there's nothing that is like jaded or hard or
I think if I would have stayed doing it, I definitely would have. But too, as a female in law enforcement, and I think this is applicable for many jobs that women are in, is that I use my mouth to diffuse situations because there's a difference between the stature and what I could do as a woman. And I was confronted with certain situations, but I diffuse, and this isn't rocket science, me saying this, but you just diffuse things with your mouth. I could bring a situation down by talking. And where men don't, a lot of times they get caught up in
the physicality.
Yes, the physicality of it all. And that's where things can escalate quicker. So
I bet you were a really good cop.
Well, thanks. They liked me while I was there. So
what's interesting too is that we talk about like we've done the Clifton Strengths thing. And you are 100% right with your first instincts all the time about another human. That is a huge gift. That's a huge gift to our team too.
Well,
I mean, truly. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, if I can contribute something, that's what we're all about as a team.
So I'm going to just keep fast forwarding through your life.
Yeah.
So you leave California and you leave the police force because you get married. And your husband is in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Or he joins the Air Force.
Yeah, he rejoins
the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings you to the little old Upper Peninsula. And here you've stayed.
I know, it's so nice here.
All these years. All these
years. We've known each other. All these.
I know. 19 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Val has actually worked in the chiropractic world longer than me. 9/11 was your anniversary day, the first day that you started working for the McLeans.
Yeah. 9/11. The 9/11.
The 9/11.
Yeah.
How crazy.
That's a crazy. And we all remember where we were that day.
We do.
Yeah.
So you are here in Gwinn, Michigan, and you have 3 beautiful daughters, and you're a stay-at-home mom for many, many years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like basically the Betty Crocker of their lives. I mean, that doesn't even.
That was how wonderful. All my kids were born here in the UP. And so, yeah, I was afforded that luxury to be able to stay home with them till a certain point. And with that, yeah, I did I always coin that phrase, afforded the luxury, because I know many of people. And in this day and age, and that was 20 years ago now, right? So, or more. And yeah, so we did the Girl Scouts, and we did, I was at the schools all the time. And then we did the travel sports. And so what everybody does. And living in a small town versus growing up in a big city, I was just thrilled to be able to give that to my kids, because it's very different growing up in a big city. There's a sense of community. I even still feel like we have it here. So, whereas, you go to some of these big cities, I didn't know my neighbors growing up.
You didn't.
I knew some, but especially as I got a little bit older through my teenage years, no, I didn't know my neighbors. And
Wow.
they didn't want to know you. So,
I remember being a travel nurse on the East Coast in Connecticut, and everyone was like, "Where are you from?" I do have a little bit of a Yooper accent, but I think that the warmth, the
Yeah.
kindness, the love, the community, the, yeah,
Oh, yeah, especially, yeah, with you. Oh, I imagine.
with us, and what we've created here at Wautier Wellness.
Oh, I would hope so. We just treat people the way we want to be treated.
Exactly. That's your tagline,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think so. Yes, definitely. And it's so simple.
No, your tagline is "You get what you give,"
Well, yeah,
right?
you get what you give.
I think I know the answer to this question, but these days, what gives you the most joy in life?
My grandkids. It's family. Yeah, it's family. And I think the older I get, the more I realize. And I think most of us, as we get older, we realize just how important family is. And if we are granted grandchildren, oh my gosh, the thrill of that. And so I have 2 grandkids right now. One is 6. We share a day.
How kismet is that?
I don't. It was her due date, and then she actually had him on her due date, which was
No,
like
it never happens.
so. And then I have another little grandbaby who's a boy. He's 2.5, and then we have one that's coming. So
Mm,
and how and two to go back a little bit is that my 3 girls, they did kind of fly away for a while,
mhm.
but they've all flown back. So I know how, again, I keep saying lucky, but how fortunate I am to have all my kids back in the area. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know, will it always be this way? Life changes all the time, but I'm going to eat it up as much as I can now. And
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
so yes, those little grandkids, we sled, okay, one's in hockey, one just likes to run around and play hide and go seek. It's just those things.
We are sort of coming full circle, because if you think about this, we started even talking about your mother and your grandparents, and I mean, isn't it crazy? Your grandparents born in the 1800s, and here we are, 2026. And now you were that little girl, and now you are a grandparent. I mean, that doesn't almost even seem real, does it?
No. And what does that teach us? That, yeah, time just goes, doesn't it? And we try to make the most of what we can while we're here. And it's like, if I change something, then everything would be
changes.
altered. So how can you really put your finger on something? Because the ripple, you stop this, but then what happens? So you wouldn't, I wouldn't
know.
be sitting here. Would you know me?
This is the coolest thing. I'm going to tell our listeners how we met. So I grew up in the Upper Peninsula, about 70 miles from where we are right now. I graduated from chiropractic school. My husband was working here. We had a new baby. I didn't have a job. And we were sort of trying out churches. Do you even know this whole story? We were trying out churches, and someone was I said, "Oh, I just graduated from chiropractic school, but I don't have a job. And, I had a new baby." And he said, "Oh, John McLean is looking for someone to work in his Gwinn office." He connected us. I remember, I think I bought a suit for the interview, right? And I didn't know where Gwinn was. I mean, I had to sort of look at the map. Like, how am I going to get from Marquette to Gwinn? I met you that first day that I had the interview with John in Gwinn, and he was looking for someone to take over that practice. And then he really wanted me to buy the practice. And I said, on one condition, that Val stays with me and that you don't take her. Because you would go to Marquette. You would work in the Marquette office, in the Gwinn office. And
But I knew that before you knew that. I was staying with you.
how lucky are we?
It's been lovely. It really has.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting about Full Circle too? When you met me, I had babies, right? Now your babies have babies, and my babies are getting ready to fly away.
And talk about full circle, hey? It's just...
Here we are 19 years later, and maybe that's what a life well lived really is. Moments stitched together by purpose, laughter, and the people who make our journey meaningful. Thank you for being with me on this journey.
I thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this podcast, would you please rate it, review it, like, or subscribe? You can find me on social media at wautierwellness.com, Dr. Stephanie Wautier on Instagram, or Wautier Wellness Chiropractic and Massage on Facebook. And I'm so curious where your next conversation will take you.